This tutorial is about twirling mechanisms. They're one of the earliest mechanisms invented by Theodore Brown in about the 1930s. I've got four kinds. There's this kind. It goes round and round like that. The second type is a vertical one that goes round and round like that. And the third and fourth type, I've made them on one sheet. They go around like this. On the other two types, the rod is static and the thread moves. On this one, it's the thread is static in each case and the rods move. Normally, I'm pretty purist. I only do pop-up with card and glue, whereas in this one instance, we're using a wooden rod and some thread. I've got woolen thread here, but I think, you know, cotton or anything else will do really. So we'll just look at number one, is this type that spins over, and here it is. This is the 1930s copy of it. It's a bit of a sad thing really, because the clown, you know, a trapeze artist or something, and the pieces were held together with thread, so he would swing around, so there's some trousers there and feet which would have hung down below. And the reason you need it like that is because when it's closed, the bar is so close to the edge of the page that the whole figure can't stick out, so you need some thread joining it, so it's just got much more bend to it. Anyway, this is Theodore Brown's version, published by Louis Giraud in the 1930s. This book is called The Daily Express Children's Annual, number 2, from the 1930s, nearly 100 years old. This one is Yellow Square by David Carter. He's done an exact copy of that. He's given a nod to Theodore Brown. It's called Uncle Theo's Trapeze and Yellow Square. There's yellow squares hidden all the way through this book. So that's exactly the same action. And then there's another example. This is Mummy by Matthew Reinhardt. Absolute masterpiece. I think this is a brilliant book. In here, one of the flaps, as you open the flap, the mummy spins round. And I have actually got another example. This is by Shella Sturrock. It's one of her amazing Christmas cards that she sends to people. And when you open it up, it's a little miniature one. This is a type of pyramid, really. You can see the way this works. When it's open, this thread is taut and the one inside will be loose. But then as you close it, the card is lifting up from the base, and so the thread inside will be coming taut and this one is getting loose. So most of the examples I've got, the thread is always taut, but in this one it doesn't actually matter as long as you have your measurements right. Just before I show you how to make it, I'll just show you my earlier example when I tried to make it. Initially I had it completely wrong. I'd got these feet on the blue bits stuck down there. I had the thread round it and I did it all and it just didn't work at all. So all I could think to do was actually cut the feet out because they were so solidly glued, spread them out wider, then play around with the thread. So I started by sticking one end of the thread down and it's held in place with this piece of card, then took it up round and round the spindle and then just experimented with this. You know, I could move this other piece of card around till I found a good place and then stick it down. So that is now giving a really nice action. Then I made this one following those measurements that I'd worked out there. So now I could actually just poke holes in the base. The string just goes through really neatly. And then if you look at the back, there it is. It comes through the holes and then I've used card on the back just to hold it really tight. I did have a problem with this. Every now and again it would jam and I just couldn't think what the problem was. I thought it was something to do with where the thread was, how many times I'd rolled the thread round the spindle or something like that. And what it turned out in the end, it was these stops that are to stop the spindle falling out. One of them had gone in under this blue piece and so then the whole thing is jammed. It just won't work. Anyway, once I'd worked that out, I moved the yellow bits on a bit and now yeah, it just works really sweetly. So I'll just show you how to make one of these. Here it is. This is the 2 supports at each end. 9 centimetres long each side. I've made them triple thickness so that they're really sturdy with a tab on each end. So it's 9 centimetres long, and then the measurements are 2, 2, 2. And probably I should actually cut one of these down so they fold up nicely. I don't know why I never thought to do that when I was preparing all this. So I'll just cut an edge off one of these. There we go, and I'll do the other one while I'm at it. Nine centimetres, 2, 2. I've marked where you cut it here and the little folds, so it should be cut before it's glued. I'll score that as well so it just folds more nicely. And now when this should push through, that's going to go down, that's going to push through. And if I fold these, so there we are, we've got the same little thing that this can go through. So here we are, they're folded up, and the little cradle for the spindle is down below. So these flaps are folded up and the counterfold is down below. So I'll just glue these quickly. There we are, fold that over, flatten it all. That's it. Right, stick it on here. Now the 2 holes I've made, one is 2 centimetres in from the spine, the other is 8.5 centimetres in from the spine. I've offset them slightly just because that's what Theodore Brown did. I don't know if it's really necessary actually. I'll make those 2 holes so you can put the thread through, poke it with this. So those are all ready. And I'll stick these on. The marks where these glue down are where the feet stand is 5 centimetres in from the spine. 5 centimetres in. And here's the other. 5 centimetres in. Fold the feet over, fold them shut. Put the glue on both these feet. There we are, and close it down. So they find where they want to be. There we are, 2 parallel folds. Here's the spindle I prepared, so we can push that through. Might be better to put the one end of the thread in first. Here's the thread. So I put a bit of glue on the thread and then I can squeeze it and it just hardens the end up, so it just makes it that much easier to thread through. There we are, that should be fixed. Now we can open it up, put this through there, wind the thread round it a few times. I don't know whether this makes any difference, whether it's wound through a lot or a little. I've really no idea. And then we want it to go through that other hole, so I'll glue it up again. Pull it through. Right, let's just, before I stick it shut, let's just test it. Yes, it's spinning okay. Now I can put some glue on another bit of card. Pull it tight, stick it over it. I'll stick a flag on it so you can see that it is actually working. There we are, let's see. Yeah, we close it and you can see it's working fine. And then the last bit, you need some stops. On this one you can see I've put these little rolled up spirals of cardboard on each end just to stop the whole thing sliding out. Here they are, they're just little bits of card like this that you need to put glue on and roll them round. It's just a really laborious, slow, fiddly process, so I'm sure you can do it without me actually demonstrating it. You know, there you have the mechanism, you can see how it works. This is the twirling type number 2. These are 2 V-folds. As you close the base, a V-fold will fold down in the direction that it's pointing. So as it closes, you can see these V-folds are moving this way. So they're pulling the threads. The thread is going between them. You can see the thread is being moved like that. It's 2 symmetric parallel folds that hold the spindle upright. There isn't anything below it anchoring it. So I presume it could actually fall out. But maybe if the thread is tight enough around it, it just holds it. I suppose the other way you might do it is put a whole big blob of glue and let it just solidify underneath it. I've got an example in this. Brava Strega Nona. This is also by Robert Sabuda and Matthew Reinhardt. This is a really fantastic book. The example is this one. So there's the fountain in the middle of the town square that as you open and close it goes round and round like that. So I'll make one of these. So here it is. I've got the 2 parallel folds, the 2 V-folds. The angles on each side are both 45 degrees. The whole height of the thing is 4 centimeters. There's a little hole cut in it 1 centimeter below the top. And both of these are identical. This one comes up 2 centimeters from the spine, that's the point of one. The point of the other is 8 centimeters. This distance is 8 centimeters. These are the 2 parallel folds. There's a small one and there's a tall one. They're both 4 centimeters wide, and this one from the crease where it sticks down like this, I've marked it's 0.8 from the spine. The corner is 7.5 centimeters up from the bottom of the page, and then it's 0.8 centimeters in from the spine. This will stick down like this, and then this big one, it sticks in exactly the same position, but it will be taller. And this taller one, whereas this small one is 2 centimeters from crease to spine, this one is 3.5 centimeters from crease to spine. But first, I'm unhappy with that. I want this angle to be 35, the same as that. So I'll just put that on the mark. That mark is 8 centimeters down. And then we can come in 20, 35, that's the point. And so that's from there to there is 35. You want them both the same, these little triangles and the angles they're stuck down at. You want them the same so they move uniformly when they're shifting this card. I'll stick the first one down. And so I have to stick one side first. Okay, that's one. You put glue on the other tab. Shut this so it finds its natural position. That's one. Second one. Glue it into position, and again glue on the other tab. Shut it so it finds its natural position. Okay, those are good. Now we stick these two pieces on. So first this small one, glue on one side. And that goes up to that. So that's one side. And again, we fold it shut, put glue on the other tab. There we are, close it down. Now, before this goes on, this is going to have to go through there and through that hole in the top there, and that's going to go like that. But I'm going to have to wind some thread onto it before I put it in position there. Cut that off. Wind it around there a few times. I wonder about putting it through the triangles as well. Right, there's one. Pull that through quite a lot. And then this is the other. I'm just going to fix one end of this piece of thread with a bit of glue. Put some glue on a small triangle, glue it over that. That thread is now fixed. This other end, I just put it through that triangle. Let's pull it all tight. That's tight. So one end goes down through this hole in the yellow. Can push that down, pull it tight, and now we can put the other parallel fold over the top. You can glue both of these at the same time because you know exactly where they're going. They're going in the gullies made by the previous one. That goes down, that goes tight into that gully, that goes tight into that gully. This comes tight. I want to stick it down to one side, but again, so it doesn't move, I'm just going to make a slight nick in that, just so the thread can go through it and be held in the same place all the time. There we are. And so that's all tight now. And I'll just put another triangle over it to hold it in place. Now I'm going to let that go off before I move it, so I'll just make another little flag to make sure you can see whether it's moving or not. Right, and now open and close it. So this is twirling mechanism number 2.